Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be starting a new series, this time looking at super teams. Now, if you guys have been following the channel for a while, you'll know that I recently completed my 6-6 series with the NST super team. And during that series, I ended up playing against all 28 adversary pairings. I ended up playing 32 games, going 32-0 with this team. And I know there are some players on the Discord that have also won. I think they're also undefeated with this team. Maybe they've lost since I've last talked to them, but they are also undefeated with this team as well. So this team is a real banger. And so I created a video, a primer that talked a little bit about the team when I had only played 10 games. And now that I've played 32 and I have multiple days worth of recorded content of this team on the channel, I figured now is a great time to cover the team in more depth, as well as talk about the intricacies, the things that you don't really think about until you're actually playing the team, some stuff to look for, some minors, majors, some board tactics, and also like the openings, how the spirit functions within the team, but also how does that compare to when it's outside of the team. Now, I mentioned starting a new series regarding super teams. Now, there's a couple other super teams that I want to talk about, or I might talk about if I get a lot of positive feedback from this video. So if people really want to see more content regarding super teams, I will for sure make that content when the time comes. I know there's a layer team that I've actually been working on. There's another locust team. I know there's the cheese team. There's some mentor serpent teams, and I'm sure there's many more. Oh, there's a bringer team as well. There's many super teams that I can cover. So if people are interested, then I will cover that. Okay, the NST team. Where does it originate? So the NST team originated from Discord when a user by the name of Baby Sea Turtles had mentioned trying out the traditional Lightning River combo. So this is a combo that's been in the game for an eternity. So since the very beginning, they mentioned trying this combo of spirits with Starlight as well as Downpour. And essentially, Boon of Reimagining is going to be going to Lightning, and then Gift of Abundance is going to be going to Boon of Reimagining to essentially give out two Boon of Reimaginings to Lightning on turn 1. And that was the combo that was mentioned, and I love the Lightning River combo. This is a combo I've done so many times. So when I saw that and I saw, oh, you can get to draft a ton of cards, that sounds like a lot of fun. So after I saw that, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try. I'm going to play 6-6 with that, and absolutely slapped the invaders. I'm pretty sure I did this combo, Sweden, France as well, but completely stomped on the invaders. And at that time, I hadn't played all the 6-6s, and I was like, okay, I had so much fun playing the 6-6 team. Let me play against all of the 6-6 combinations, all of the adversary pairings, and I'm going to see how this team does, and I'm just going to keep playing until I lose. Well, then I just kept winning and winning and winning. And you know what? This team is damn good. This team is one of the best teams in the entire game. Like I said, I have 100% win rate with this team, and I'm pretty sure across majority of the adversary comps, this team will win 100% of the time. There's only a few adversary comps that I think have a chance of beating this team. And even then, that chance is like, what, somewhere between maybe 30% maybe that you're going to lose into some adversary comps. Maybe it's lower, maybe it's higher, but yeah. So let's get started. Let's talk about the team and let's talk about the players here. So the first is going to be Lightning with the aspect of wind. So for players that are new to the game, so wind is one of the aspects that replace one of the rules on Lightning. So there are multiple spirits in the game that have different aspects that replace different parts of the spirit. So for the sake of Lightning, wind is going to be what we're playing in this game. For river, we are going to be using the travel aspect. We have Starlight, and then we have Downpour. So these are the 4 spirits. Okay, let's take a look at lightning, and I want to talk about why is it wind and not one of the other aspects or base. So wind says exaltation of storm wind, and it's going to replace swiftness of lightning. So remember, swiftness of lightning is going to allow you to create an extra slow to fast powers per air you have. So it's a very self-serving ability. Wind is going to cut the number of slow to fasts that Lightning gets to take, but it gets to double it for the team in a way. Not exactly, but that's kind of how it resolves. So it's called the Exaltation of Stormwind, and you're going to target another spirit. If you have one air this turn, you and target spirit may each make one of your non-major slow powers fast. So if you have a single air card, you're getting 2 slow to fasts as per 1. But really, that 2 is important because it's going to be utilized by other spirits on this team. The second tier, which I think is pretty underrated but very important in this combo, is it says if you have 3 air, you and target spirit each gain +1 range with all of your powers this turn. And that is so important because having +1 range means you're able to end in a reclaim loop and hit every land on the island possibly. Okay, so what is a reclaim loop? A reclaim loop is where you're going to choose your first growth option over and over and over again. This is all you're going to be picking. And you're going to notice there's some positives, but there's also drawbacks. And the drawbacks is you're not placing presence, which means you're not developing your tracks. So the way we get around that is we reach a state to where we can reclaim loop without that downside. And that is where having that extra range matters, because when you're placing your presence on turn 1 and turn 2, you want to place it in lands such that you can cover your board with the extra range. Okay, so the third tier, if you have 4 air and 1 water, you and target spirit may each push up to 2 explorers from one of your respective lands. And that's really important because that explorer push is going to be massive into multiple adversary pairings. For instance, this pairing right here with France double exploring because of level 1, or no, what is it? Level 1. And this is being able to stop builds just by having this innate, and it's happening between 2 spirits, yourself and another spirit. It's so important, very, very powerful. It's great into Russia, HME, Sweden, being able to pair up all those explorers and then combo kill all of them. And then finally, this last tier, 5 air and 2 water, you get to do this power again. So if you max out this innate, it essentially means you're getting 4 slow to fasts. You're getting +2 range for lightning and then +1 range on 2 other spirits, or +2 on 1 other. And then you're getting essentially pushing, 8 explorers max. Okay, so that's the wind innate. It's a complete upgrade over base lightning. Let's look at some of the other aspects. So Pandemonium it has the same problem with base lightning. Pandemonium is replacing Thundering Destruction. Not really what we're looking for this combo. Immense is going to allow you to become more of a major power spirit by having more energy. That's not really what we want to do here either, because we're going to be having energy from River, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. So the last one is just Sparking. Sparking is, in my opinion, the strongest way to play Lightning in a vacuum. So if you're taking a random team, Sparking is going to do excellent. And you know what? Sparking is going to do great in this team as well. It's just worse than Wind. Wind is just straight up better. The extra range is important because you're in a reclaim loop. The extra slow to fasts are really important for this team. Now, like I said, Sparking is still an incredible aspect. It's just Wind is better. So let's lock that in and let's get rid of these. There we go. Okay. So what is Lightning's role in this team? Lightning is going to be our carry. And the reason why Lightning is going to be our carry is because we have that Wind innate that I just talked about. We also have Thundering Destruction, which allows us to kill buildings in the fast phase, which allows us to help create pockets if we need to. But most importantly, it has 6 card plays, and it can get there in 2 growths. 2 growths. Lightning is the only spirit in the entire game that has 6 card plays on its tracks. There are 2 other spirits that get close, and that is Dances Up Earthquakes, which has 4 plays, but then it has these 2 impending squares, which really don't really matter, and it also takes forever to get there. And the other spirit is Fractured Days, which only has 3 plays, but you're able to get +4 by choosing this growth option. So technically you can have 7 plays with Fractured Days, but I'm not going to say never happens. It's just not consistent because you have to choose this option to get it. Okay. So now you have 6 plays. Now here's the problem, right? If you have 6 plays, you're only generating 1 energy, so you're not able to sustain this. Not unless you have River. And River has Boon of Vigor, which is a zero cost fast. It's a sun water plant. It says target any spirit. If you target yourself, gain 1 energy. That's not what's important. What is important is this bottom part, where it says if you target another spirit, they gain 1 energy per power card they played this turn. Very important when you're playing 6 cards a turn. So now, every time Lightning reclaims, or every time Lightning plays their 6 cards, Boon of Vigor is going to come out, giving Lightning 6 energy. And then Lightning is going to get an energy off of their growth, or off of their tracks, and then energy off of their growth, which means Lightning is going to have 8 energy and 6 plays a turn. And that is why Lightning is a carry, on top of everything else, so like on top of the Wind Innate, and then also your cards are solid as well. In addition, Lightning has Lightning's Boon, which is a 1 energy fast power fire air. Target spirit may use up to 2 slow powers as if they were fast this turn. So this allows you to make slow powers fast, which is critical to cheating the tempo or the drawbacks of a lot of power cards. In addition, this allows majors to go fast while your Wind Innate does not. So if you ever need a fast major, Lightning's Boon is the way to play it. Okay, let's look at the next player before I dive deeper into Lightning. So River Travel here. So why are we playing the travel aspect? So the travel aspect is going to get rid of this innate here. It's going to get rid of that that special rule where it says your presence in wetlands count as your sacred site. So if I'm playing here, River, when I have a presence in wetlands, it's now a sacred site. Now travel gets rid of that, okay? And instead, travel says after your growth, choose up to 2 Dahang among your lands. Move each of them to any land connected by your presence. Okay, what does that mean? So if I have my presence here and here, during my growth, I'm able to freely move Dahan. That's massive. Being able to move Dahan like that allows you to combo with Dahan defense spirits, but also it allows you to combo with Dahan effects, Dahan cards. Maybe you need Vigor of the Breaking Dawn. Well, now you can just fast move Dahan for free. In addition, it says your lands with 4 or more Dahan are considered sacred sites and have Defend 1. That Defend 1 is going to be huge because it now defends against a single town. In addition, we have Downpour that has can turn on a AoE defense in presence lands. So essentially, Downpour plus River can give you Defend 2 to 3 in lands, which is massive. Like that's a huge thing that base River does not have. Now, another thing why travel is just better than base River is travel allows you to create sacred sites when you move Dahan or when you have 4 Dahan. Why does that matter? It matters because of River's Bounty, which is a 0 cost slow power, sun, water, animal, 0 range, gather up to 2 Dahan. If there are at least 2 Dahan, add a Dahan. So this is going to allow you to create a sacred site in the slow phase for Travel River. Okay, so let's say we're playing Travel now, and I'm able to freely move Dahan with Travel. So I'm going to move these Dahan here and here. And now in the slow phase, I'm going to use my River's Bounty. I'm going to gather that last Dahan, add a Dahan, and now I have a sacred site. And now I'm able to use my Massive Flooding. So this Travel aspect it allows us to create those sacred sites in the slow phase, which gives us extra flexibility. Okay, so I talked about why travel is better than base. Why is travel better than the other aspects? Let's take a look here. Sunshine. So if you're a fan of this channel or if you've played a lot of Spirit Island, you'll know that Sunshine is one of the worst aspects in the entire game. The main reason is because it's the only aspect in the game where you're starting with a hand less than 4 cards. So you actually lose your best card in with this aspect. You lose Boon of Vigor, and the whole point of this combo is to maximize Boon of Vigor. So yes, we cannot play Sunshine. Okay, so the second aspect is Haven, which allows you to have this AoE defend. The problem with Haven is it is replacing your Massive Flooding, which is very important because Massive Flooding is going to act as a reliable hammer that's built into the kit. And it turns out that this hammer is very necessary to the success of this team into multiple adversary comps. So I talked about how Lightning is going to be our carry, so River is going to be our support because of Boon Figure, but then it also has a hammer, and that hammer, as I mentioned, is that massive flooding. And specifically, it's that final tier where it says if you have these elements 3, 4, 1, instead do 2 damage to each invader. So 2 damage to each invader that you can combo with Flash Floods, which does a single point of damage, to kill a city as well as all of the towns and explorers. Or you can combo Massive Flooding with Raging Storm. So Raging Storm deals 1 damage to each invader. So when you have Raging Storm plus Massive Flooding, that's 3 damage to all invaders, which basically wipes out that entire land. That massive flooding is really important. In addition, River's creating Dahan. It's moving Dahan around. That allows you to play it around Dahan events, as well as Dahan majors and minors, all of that. You then have some control tools that are really good in that early mid game to kind of stall out the adversary while you dig for cards. Okay, so that's River. And River's plan is they're going to grow all the way to 5 plays, and they're going to enter into a reclaim loop. And it turns out the way you play River in this combo is the exact same way you play River into single 6. It's the exact same you play River into majority of adversary combos or spirit combos, is just because your plays track is so good. And I'm going to talk more about River later in this video. Okay, we're now getting to the fun part, and that is Starlight. So Starlight's role in this team is to act as that second carry. It's going to be that spirit that is drafting majors, while River and Downpour are drafting minors, Lightning and Starlight are drafting majors. And so Starlight is digging for majors. It can also tech towards a support role if you need to. It has a built-in skip with Peace. And as I mentioned earlier, it has that boon of reimagining to allow Lightning to filter through cards. Starlight is a very flexible spirit. It pretty much does everything you want in a spirit. I really think like majority of teams just get better with Starlight. I think it's going to be very rare that a team gets worse by adding this spirit to the team. It's so consistent and it's so good. Okay, so what are we doing with Starlight? There are multiple builds with Starlight. One build that goes towards the extra +1 play card early. There's other builds that I've seen that go towards the energy and the power card gain. The build that I prefer, and you'll know if you've watched my Starlight videos, is I love to go towards this card gain and presence move. I find it just gives the players so much I guess so much agency as well as the ability to dig through the decks. The presence movement is important. It comes with card gains. It's just really good. So naturally, what I do with Starlight, and this happens every game, is you're going to go, or how I play it at least. And for this combo, it will go like this: is you're going to lock off this. You're going to grab. So that's your first growth option. Your second growth option is you're going to gain a power card. You're going to move a presence. Your third growth option is you're going to gain an energy. And that is how you're going to play Starlight. And then after that, after you've gained cards, after you've gained energy, at that point, you are going to, what you do with the spirit is going to vary. And it's going to, maybe you go towards the energy, maybe you go towards the elements. I've had games where I've gone towards this extra energy here early. I've had games where I've gone to the Reclaim All. The only thing that I haven't done is gone towards this extra card play and the slow to fast. So as for thresholds to work towards, I don't really have an easy like choice to pick. I know a lot of times I'll favor earth or I'll favor water. I find it really just depends on what you really need. Surprisingly, and this is what I found most interesting, is that this air, and I know I've had players tell me this before, but this air is just incredible. I think it's so underrated, and it might actually be the best out of these into 6/6. Like it's completely cracked. The animal definitely feels pretty weak. I mean, the moon is pretty bad. It's just you get it turn 1, so it's like a free action. The sun is really strong. It's just teching for that is really good. And yeah, the fire and animal, these are probably your weakest. I don't really tech towards plant. The remaining are usually what I go for, but the air has just been surprisingly so strong with the spirit. Okay, we talked about Starlight. Let's go and talk about the final spirit, and that is Downpour. Now, Downpour's role is going to act like the glue. It's going to have some support. It's going to have an extra hammer. It's going to have a lot of small actions that can defend little areas. Maybe it needs to heal blight. Maybe it needs to move presence around such that we can utilize that wind pushing explorers. Maybe it needs to kill a bunch of random towns. Maybe it needs to isolate lands. Really, Downpour does like pretty much anything you need. A lot of times I've noticed Downpour just becomes a support bot, where like if you find one of the support cards, you end up just reclaim looping it, which is kind of sad, but yeah, that's just the reality of how this team works with Downpour. This combo made me love playing Downpour. Before I hated Downpour, didn't like it wasn't a spirit for me. I knew it was powerful, but this combo really allowed me to open up my mind and to find joy in playing the spirit. Now, what is Downpour doing on turn one? So it's going to be playing Gift of Abundance. So what is Gift of Abundance? Gift of Abundance to 1 energy fast power, sun, air, water, plant, targeting another spirit. Target spirit either gains 2 energy or may repeat 1 power card this turn by paying its cost. Very important for the sake of this combo. The point of it is to repeat Boon of Reimagining so that we give out 2 Boon of Reimaginings to Lightning. Now, that's not all. Okay, so so Gift of Abundance, it says, then either you or target spirit may add 1 destroyed presence to a wetland where you have presence. So this allows you to add destroyed presence. It's built into the card. That's going to be important when this combo finds Cast Down. And Cast Down is a major power that is going to, when thresholded, destroy one of the islands or one of the boards. And this is how we're going to gain advantage. Now, the more I played this combo, the more I realized that Cast Down is just what you should go for. If you see Cast Down, you pick it. Now you can win without it into many of the matchups, but I also think there's matchups where this card is basically required. And Abundance is going to allow you to bring back presence. If I destroy this island and I lose a bunch of my presence, I can use Downpour to bring back some of that presence. And that could be necessary for targeting, to enable specific targeting. So the Presence Resurrection can also matter for this Right Innate. So the Right Innate fast heals Blight, and then Gift of Abundance can restore that presence, which is pretty cool. Another thing to point out is once you uncover this plant, once your tracks look like this, if they ever do, just playing a single water plant card gets this Right Innate, which is a fast healing Blight, which is just absolute absurd value that you get with the spirit. You also have that AoE defend with this left innate, so it says Rain and Mud suppress conflict, so each of your presence grants defend 1 and lowers the Han counterattack by 1, and then if you get the second tier, they now do that for defend 2, so both of these are amazing. This last tier here has, I don't think it's ever come up, just because the elemental thresholds is so high, it never really matters, and then I think I hit this once in my games, but it didn't matter. But so that's this. Oh yeah, so another little thing that Downpour can do is Downpour drench the landscape. It says spirit actions and special rules treat your sacred sites as wetlands in addition to the printed terrain. So you're essentially allowed to create wetlands with your special rule, which is really cool because that can enable targeting for Gift of Abundance, but it also allows spirits to enable specific targeting for majors. So Cleansing Flood is really important. It needs that wetland. My other favorite major is Flocking Red Talons, which also requires that wetland. Okay, so I've talked about all of the players. Now let's talk about the different openings. And actually, before I do that, let's do the explorers here. So I'm going to talk about the openings, and then I'm going to play through the first couple of turns just to showcase how the spirits function together. So Jungle is going to be our royal backing. That's our Sweden 4. So it's deck acceleration. We got to add those towns to the lands with the fewest invaders. There we go. And that Explorer is, I'll let you pause the video. What do you guys think the worst Explorer is? Okay, so the best is Mountain. Oh, actually, they all look pretty bad now that I'm looking at it again, because I see Sands is bad because of these lands. Mountain looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4 city lands. Sands, I have 4. Wetlands, I have 5, 6. So definitely not wetlands, which means it's 100% going to be wetlands, because that's just how this is. Yeah, I've played this game before. Okay, so wetlands explore. Let's do that here. I now need to France 6, everybody's favorite rule. I love to France 6 into my disease lands. If those lands already have the explorers, I'm going to France 6 into my beast lands. Okay. There we go. And now let us begin. Let's delete this. Let's delete this. Okay, starting off with lightning here. So what is lightning going to do? What is its growth sequence? So growth 1, so turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and turn 3 onward. So turn 1, we're going to growth 2. That's this option. Turn 2, we are going to growth 2. That is this option. So we're picking double growths. And then turn 3, we're going to choose growth 1, and that's going to be this option. And that's going to be ending that reclaim loop that I mentioned. So we're going to grow twice. Now, I'm going to look at the board, and I'm going to see where my starting board is. So board F. And the more I played this team comp, the more I realized just how good board F is for lightning. And the reason for that is a single sacred site with the wind innate, that +1 range, is going to hit the entire board F, okay? The final tier, you're not really going to get that much, but this tier you pretty much always get. So you're always going to be having that +1 range, which means the sacred site has range 2, which means it covers all of your board on board F, and then also gets to cover some of the neighboring boards. As I'm highlighting everything, so it even covers B4, which is crazy. And it also covers G6. Yeah, as you guys can see just how much value that one sacred site with wind range is. Look at this, just essentially covers the whole board. So when I'm placing presence with my next growths, I want to grow such that I can cover these remaining lands. So I'm looking here, a juicy target looks like this mountain because that will cover the remaining of board A. This is another juicy target here on B7. But I think I want to cover this land here on on A6 there. Now with that, I'll cover all of F in A, which means one more sacred site on board G, and I'll have essentially the whole board covered. So I'm going to grow there. We'll put our sacred site here. Now, one thing that I'm thinking about when I'm placing these presents, okay, is I'm considering not only the range of abilities, but I also am considering the different terrain types. Now we're entering in a reclaim loop, which means where we place presence, it's basically stuck there. Now, of course, there's ways to get around that with Downpour, re-adding destroyed presence, stuff like that. But most of the time, your presence is just going to be stuck in those lands. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are specific majors that require certain terrain origin range restrictions. And most notably is Jungle Hungers. That's probably the most important one. So accessing a jungle is very important. I talked about the wetlands. The sands, you have, what are the two sands? You have, now that I'm blanking, the one that adds a bunch of wilds. And, oh yeah, Sleep and Never Waken, that's the really important one as I just pass it up. Yep, Sleep and Never Waken, that's really good. Is it Firevine, I think is the name? Yeah, Strangling Firevine is another one. And then Mountain, you have Pyroclastic Flow, which is really important. This is a great card, especially in this matchup. So accessing that is really important. In addition, I like to access lands such that I can get the most value off of the Explorer push. Just looking here, there's a 50-50 chance, just because of this matchup, that Mountain can come up. So I want to be able to, if it does, I just can freely stop a build. So I'm just proactively doing that. So, okay, so G2, we grow from bottom track. We play 0 cards here. And this is what's really important. No cards get played. And remember, we're taking a Boon of Reimagining turn 1 and turn 2. What is Boon of Reimagining? Because I think I forgot to talk about this card. So it's a 1 energy slow power. Targets any spirit. Target spirit may forget a power card from hand or discard to gain to look at 6 minor powers and gain 2 of them. If you target another spirit, gain 1 energy. So when Downpour repeats Boon of Reimagining, that means Lightning is going to look at 12 cards and it's going to pick 4 of them. It's not exactly like that. You're looking at 6, pick 2, but that's essentially what it is. You're digging through a lot of the deck and you're gaining that energy. So after I get Boon of Reimagining, I gain an energy. I get it again. I gain another energy. And then on turn 2, I'll gain my last energy. So I'll have 4 energy to play my 6 cards. Now, you're going to notice, just looking at my cards here, my hand costs 5 energy, which means I'm going to have to forget Raging Storm or Shatter Homesteads. Now, the matchup where, like, what I forget is going to be based on the matchup that I'm playing. So Raging Storm, I might forget this into England, Scotland, but against Russia, I might be keeping it. Shatter, this is a card that I'm probably forgetting into those Russia HME matchups, but I might keep this into an England matchup. So forgetting these cards, it's going to depend on the matchup, but also the cards that I'm drafting. So like I might forget Raging Storm, and then I might forget Shatter, or I might forget Raging Storm, and then forget one of the minors for that second Boon of Reimagining. And I'll explain that more as I get through this. Okay, so that's going to be Lightning, G2, G2, G1, and once we get on turn 3, we'll have that 8 energy, 8-6, or it could be 9-6 if I drew a lot of zeros, and then we're going to have that for the remainder of the game. Okay, so River. What is River going to do in this combo? So River is just going to play standard River nonsense, okay? And what does that mean? I'm going to actually go over here. We'll draw over here so we can look. Actually, maybe I can do it really small over here. So turn 1, turn 2. Actually, that's probably not going to work. Let's do, I have an idea. Let's play this, swap, play this, swap. There we go. Improvised. Okay, River. So turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, and turn 5. So we're going to G2, G2, G1, G2, G1, and that's going to be for the rest of the games. Let's showcase what that is. So turn 1, we're going to G2, 2 presents from bottom track. Turn 2, we're going to G2 again. We're going to reclaim 1 card we have in discard. So turn 1 again, playing Wash Away and River's Bounty. Okay, we then gain an energy off of River's Bounty. Those cards go to discard. Turn 2, we G2 again. We reclaim River's Bounty. We play our 3 cards. We go to 0. We power up Lightning. We do a bunch of actions on board. Turn 3, we reclaim. We get a minor. We're looking for support cards. We're looking for Nature's Connection, Boon of Vigor, or not Boon of Vigor. Nature's Connection, Elemental Boon. We're looking for Gifted Living Energy, stuff like that. Ideally, we're looking for a 0-cost card so that I can play it in my reclaim loop, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, or I'm going to talk about the Massive Flooding reclaim loop in a second. Turn 4, we're going to G2. So we technically should have a minor card here. I'm not going to draw one, but you'll have a minor. And then turn 5, you're going to play your 4 cards plus a minor that costs 0. And this is what you can play without any support, and you can do that every turn, starting turn 5. And you're going to notice, oh look, it's maxing out that innate, and you're now throwing that hammer that you can, and because of wind, you can make that hammer fast because it's a non-major slow power. So this is why this combo is so good and why these spirits complement each other so well. Lightning is able to give wind, it's able to give slow to fast to River. In return, River gives them Boon of Vigor and allows them to power up. And then they both just can do absurd things. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so why does this reclaim loop work? So we're gaining an energy off tracks and energy off growths. That puts us at 2 energy. And then we get 1 energy off of River's Bounty, which means we are gaining 3 energy a turn, but we're paying 2 energy for Flash Floods and 1 energy for Wash Away. So these 4 cards is self-contained. You don't need anything else. And when you play all these cards, you get that Massive Flooding. And this is the Massive Flooding reclaim loop. This works into single 6 adversaries, majority of them. England is the only one where I would pivot strategies and approach the game a little bit differently. But for this combo, this is exactly what you want to be doing. Okay, so we talked about the reclaim loop. Let's erase all of this nonsense. Okay, there. And let's grow on the board. Just like how I grew with Lightning, we're going to grow with River. So we're starting on board A here. We know it is a wetland. So what I like to do here is I like to grow such that I can access more lands across the board. I'm going to grow into the sands here, and I think I'm also going to grow over here into this mountain. And then maybe I'll probably access this sands next turn so that I can also make use of the pushing explorers if needed. Now remember, we're playing travel, so I get to move 2 Dahan. I'm going to move these 2 Dahan over to here. And then I'm going to be playing River's Bounty plus Washaway. And River's Bounty is going to allow me to gather this extra Dahan, adding Dahan into A5, creating a sacred site so I can use that massive flooding to disrupt. Now, when I'm playing Wash Away here, I want to use this to stop a future city build, which means I'm looking here. It's going to be mountain or it's going to be sands. I look, mountain, sands. So I already have my Wash Away target to stop that future city build. Okay, and this is what River is doing. That is what Lightning is doing. Now let's look at the other 2 spirits here. So I already mentioned what we're going to be doing with Starlight. We're going to be growing, erasing this, and getting a power card here, and then an extra energy. You're always going to be doing this. Okay, I guess there's some cases where you not pivot, but you open up with 3 plays. I did that, I think, in a couple of my 6-6 games, but I found that it was just worse than the standard build. So the first choice you're having with Starlight now is when you gain a power card. Are you gaining a minor and a major? And I've played this team so many times, and I still do not know the correct answer. And I think it is actually based on the adversaries that you're playing. However, I think majors may be the route to go just because, as I mentioned earlier, this team wants to find cast down as much as you can. And the more you're able to draft and go through this major deck, the more likely you're able to find that cast down which is needed. Now, there might be cases where going minors is the way to go, especially if you need to find drought or scour the land or one of those other tools that's needed into the adversary that's pressuring you so much. But I think majors still is the route to go. Now, here's the thing. Before you draft that card and before you make that choice, you should draft first with Downpour. Downpour drafting should be the very first thing that you're doing with the Spirit. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about Downpour. There's 2 ways or 2 philosophies when playing Downpour. Okay, so so we have turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, and turn 5. So this is just like generic Downpour stuff. So you can G2, G3, or you G3, G2. Then you G1, and then you G2. And then you G1. This is typically how you play Downpour. G2 versus G1 or G3. And there's pros and cons to this first choice. The TLDR is when you lead with G2, it nets you +1 energy. Okay, it nets you +1 energy, but there's some significant drawbacks. The first is you don't have the minor card information. When you're leading with G3, it allows the player to know what minor they have so that they can build their plan for next turn better. In addition, when you lead with G3, it gives you more information for your presence placement on turn 2. And finally, when you lead with G3, it means you get to G2 on turn 2, which gives you an extra repeat on turn 2 compared to this option. So so if you pick this first choice, you're netting an energy, but you lose off on all those advantages that I just mentioned. And these are the 2 philosophies when playing Downpour. So no matter what, you're going to go either 1 or 2 presence off bottom track, and then you choose the other option to get into 2 plays. Then you reclaim. And then turn 4, typically, you like to G2 top so that you uncover the water plant, and then you're able to keep removing blight with that Gift of Abundance. This is how standard Downpour plays. However, the more I've played this team, the more I think specifically for the context of this team, you're actually supposed to go straight to 3 plays. Because I find that a lot of times after this turn 4 on turn 5, you just keep going and you also end in a reclaim loop. And that's because Gift of Abundance is so critical to the team's success, especially in that mid game when you're able to repeat majors. Because early on, you're using Gift of Abundance to repeat Boon of Reimagining. But in the mid game, you're repeating either majors or you're repeating support cards like elemental support cards or Boon of Vigor, stuff like that. So um, a lot of times you need to be playing Boon of Reimagining every turn after turn 5, so you don't really have time to grow back to 3 plays. Because in this option here on this side, you have that water plant, then you reclaim, and then turn 6 you G2 down to 3 plays. But the problem is on turns like this turn 6 is just very awkward. Um, Now, I may be incorrect on that, but like I said, I've played a bunch of games, and that's just my opinion based on all of the games that I've played with Downpour. Okay, so now we've done the Downpour speech, so let's lead with G3 here. I know for sure leading with G3 is correct though, mainly because we're playing Gift of Abundance. When you lead with G2, the idea is that you get to repeat your card, and you can't repeat Gift of Abundance because of the Downpour rule is you're only repeating land targeting cards. So G2 does not make sense for the sake of this this combo. Okay, so let's draw a card and let's get to it. So miners, let's see what we find here. Found Twin Days. The rest of these cards are okay. Call to Ferocity is the second best card because it's a disruption tool and it costs 0. Twin Days is absolutely busted. Yes, it's another support card on Downpour, but it's actually, well, it shouldn't surprise you. This card's still cracked because we have a Boon of Vigor. So what's going to happen next turn is I'm going to be likely playing Gift of Abundance, Gifted Twin Days next turn with Unbearable Deluge. I've played this combo, like I said, a lot of times, and this has actually come up many times in my games. So by doing this, what ends up happening on turn 2, you look like this. So you're not actually maxing out, or you're not getting the second tier, but because you have Twin Days, you actually get an extra Unbearable Deluge. So it ends up canceling out really nicely. Now, one of the things really nice in this combo that you get is that Wind Innate that I mentioned earlier, increasing the range, which is really important for a spirit like River when you can increase the range of Massive Flooding. But it's critical to Downpour because adding +1 range onto your 0 defend and your 0 kill a town is huge, especially when Downpour's presence placement game is very tight. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that Downpour can defend with that left innate comboed with River's passive defend from travel. So I like to set up a presence in a defended land if possible. Now, of course, this land is going to be 4 damage, so I'm going to be a little bit sad because I only have defend 1 plus defend 1 here. So I'd have to place both presents to get that value. But I still think it's correct though. So 1, 2, 3. And then I then get to move that presence, and then I get to move. So I'll still be able to get that nice defend here. Okay, so now specifically for this matchup combination, I want to look and figure out what lands I'm going to let go. I'm looking over here. I am looking at Sweden level 5 rule, and that says Mining Rush. So it says when Ravage actions add 1 Blight, also add a town to the adjacent land without buildings. So essentially, when these lands ravage and they blight, I'm adding towns, which allows this combination to have momentum. So I'm looking, if this ravages, this is okay. I can let this ravage go, and that's fine. This, on the other hand, I'm adding a town, I'm adding a town, I'm adding towns for both of these, I'm adding towns for this and this. So this is just a lot of sadness. So there's only a single land that I actually can cover, which means I need to defend the remaining lands, which probably means I could take the Blight here and Mining Rush here, and then that allows me to take the Blight here and not worry. The biggest negative with this is if Sands comes up, I'm kind of screwed because then it's going to build a city. So that's something to think about. I know I have this solved. I can let this go, and then the remaining ones I have to solve. Okay, so let's go, and let's grab those cards with Starlight here. So I know I talked about the growth options. I didn't tell you what cards you're playing. Well, like I said, you're playing Boon of Reimagining because you want to repeat it because of Gift of Abundance on turn 1. So Gift of Abundance. So Gift of Abundance goes here. We now have 2 Boon of Reimaginings. Oops. To lightning. Okay. So the other card we're going to play is Shape. This is going to allow Starlight to gain that minor and also gain that energy. And then we also have this Moon Innate that's going to give us a little bit of disruption, which does matter into some of the adversary comps. So like I said, getting a major here, one of the benefits is we have Shape, so we're drafting that minor in the slow phase. That is going to give us, we'll be able to draft a minor to complement our major. Now, one of the benefits to drafting the minor first is you are able to draft just a good solid card that you can utilize in the combo. If you, I guess, well, I guess actually, yeah, the biggest reason to drafting a minor instead would be to have more chances at finding some of those critical support cards. Okay, well, let's see what majors we found. So we found Solidify, one of the strongest majors in the game. Also found Paralyzing Fright and Pent Up Calamity. Any of these three cards, I think, are options. Angry Bears is just a very sad major, so not a card I'm going to consider. Solidify Echoes. Usually I would love this card, but here I don't think this is the way to go. And the reason for that, I think it's going to be unlikely that we're going to have Destroyed Presence unless I purposely destroy Presence. Yes, this card is really cool as it's able to re-add my shape, which means because I can forget shape for energy and then use Solidify to allow me to regain shape. But I think that's just, it's not really worth it. I think it costs a lot, and I think it's doing too much. I'm looking, and honestly, Pent Up Calamity seems like the card I'm going to go with. Because this is a fast add to Disease Strife, and that Strife is really good into Sweden. Also, it combos with any like token adding effects. So if I find like any of the fast Strife ads, I can use the Strife ads for lightning, and then I can play a Pent Up Calamity. Paralyzing Fright is just a great card, but we already have a skip card, so I'm going to grab Pent Up. Now, whatever major you draft, you're always forgetting Gather. Gather is a terrible card. So, okay, we've locked in everything. Let's now do our builds, and let's see what card we're going to skip. Skipping AD. And let's do our builds. Build, 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 build. And I was complaining about the triangle trade. Oh, actually, I can triangle trade over here. So I was complaining about the mining rush, but triangle trade is going to add a town, but I can actually choose to add that town to B2. And that's going to be my France 4 level rule. How are we doing on time? We are at 47 minutes. And the explorer is Sands. Let's add those explorers. Boom, boom. Now we have to add the double explorers. Oh, wow. Yes, Sands have been a really good explorer turn 1. Not so much on turn 2. We have to France 6. Let's go here, 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 and here. Yep, love France 6. Okay, so now we are set here. Okay, so the next step here is I like to gain that minor with shape and use that moon innate with starlight. So I want to see if I can stop a build if possible. I'm going to try to stop a little bit of the build here on my G3. So I'm going to pull that explorer out into the wetland here on G2. And it's likely just because both of these lands came up, I'm probably just going to skip both of them. And then if I can, hopefully get the innate here, the wind innate to push these explorers out. So that's likely what I'm going to try to push for. Okay, so that's that moon innate, pushing that explorer out. And then I'm going to use shape on themselves, gaining that minor, and I'm going to forget shape. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, not 4. It's 3 energy with shape. And what card am I going to get here? So I'm looking. I see Entrancing. This is a card that's interesting as it is allowing me to pull 2 explorers if the land is empty, which is pretty spicy. For instance, if I'm able to go here, I can pull the 2 explorers out. Oh, and that's one thing that I forgot to do. I'm able to move presence when I drafted that major, which I forgot. So really what you should do is move this presence out. Either to G8 or to G6. Luckily, it doesn't matter just because I actually need both of my presence in my G5 here. But that would be advantageous. Essentially, I could have a little bit more flexible presence movement. So just something to think about. Okay, so entrancing is definitely a card to consider. Just being able to pull the explorers out, stopping the build. Also, it allows me to tech towards air innates if I could. However, Gift of Power is one of the best miners in the deck. For Starlight, it is a quad card. Water, Earth, Plant, just everything we want. That defend 5 is really good. Now that I think about it, I think gathering the Explorer here could have been a mistake. Oh, I guess it's fine because I'm going to piece it anyway. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, so Gift of Power. The reason I said mistake is I could use the Earth Innate to defend 5 there, but no, I'm better off just piecing both lands and then going from there. So Starlight is done, Downpour is done. Now we need to use the Boon of Reimagining. We're going to forget Raging Storm in this matchup with Lightning, and we're going to gain our miners, and we're going to see what we got. Okay, so the best card here is Gold's Allure. Just once again, adding that Strife. Town Explorer Gather is really powerful. Treacherous also has some text here, just being able to fast add wilds. But no, Gold's Allure is just really good. This is like a control tool that just stops builds, right? Just like, oops, you're stopped. Like very strong. Or like stopping F1. So we're definitely going to grab Gold's Allure. The next card I grab here, oops, I forgot I get to grab another one of these. So now the next choice I need to make is, do I forget one of these cards or do I forget a card like Harbingers? Are one of these cards better than my Fire Air card? Is Treacherous better? Probably not. None of these cards are better. I mean, the defend is nice, but I mean, at least with this, if I find I need an air and a water, and that will give me my my left innate here. So I think whatever card I get, I'm just going to forget for the second Boon of Reimagining. So let's say I gain Sucking Ooze. And what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of playing out my turn 2, like I mentioned, where I want to see how many cards I can play. Remember, I only have 4 energy to work with on turn 2, and right now my hand costs 3. Okay, so the second Boon of Reimagining, I am going to forget Sucking Ooze, getting another energy, and I get another crack at it. So I'm sad if I see all 1 costs, because then I can't play all of them. Luckily, I did find some zeros. Yes, these are really good. This is the perfect element card, Steam Vents. Steam Vents is completely cracked on this because I'm going to have +1 range, which means this allows me to kill towns at range if I can. So we're 100% going to grab Steam Vents. Now the next card I grab, it's going to depend. Let's see what it looks like here. So it's a 5/4/1. Dang, which means I needed an air water, which I did. I needed 2 air waters to really make this work, which I am unfortunately an element off. Now I have the cards I'm looking at. So there is Inflame, which is a card that does combo with Pent Up. However, I already have my 4 energy here, so I really need to find a 0 cost card. I could go Weep instead. Weep is great. It is some disruption. But really the best cards are Call to Guard as well as Sap. If I grab Call to Guard, that's going to give me the extra Earth needed to kill towns with Steam Vents, which is pretty nice. It also has a Dahan Defend, which, can I set that up nicely? I guess I could set it up here, like Call to Guard here, kill the town here, and that solves these 2 lands. Ooh, I forgot that this land was going. Oops. Yeah, I mean, Call to Guard's really good just because it allows me to turn that, kill that town. I could instead grab Sap, and Sap is defend 5, and it has +1 range because I have air, and then it will actually be +2 range. So I could go boom, boom, and I can defend 5 here, which is spicy. But I think I just grab Call to Guard. Call to Guard is just the better card. Yep. So this is where we're at. We're missing a single water element, and then I am able to threshold max threshold. So, okay, that's the cards that we're going to go with. So now we have River, and this is the order. Whenever I play this team, this is the order at which I execute things so that I have all of the knowledge needed. Okay, River, we have some disruption here with River, and I think the first thing that I want to do is I want to disrupt a land. I know the plan was to disrupt this Sands, and I think I'm still going to disrupt it. And we're going to throw all of the invaders over here. And this is what's great with River. I can just pile up all of the invaders in a land, and then I can just hit it with massive flooding. So that's Wash Away. We're going to use River's Bounty, gaining an energy, gathering a Dahan, and now creating a nice little sacred site here. And this is important because now this is going to allow me to, there we go. Very nice there. Okay. So I now have that sacred site. I now have that defend 1, and that sacred site is necessary for that massive flooding, being able to disrupt invaders now. So I have an extra push, and I probably go and actually don't know. It looks like the push is kind of awkward here. I mean, maybe I'm massive flooding a different land instead, but I kind of like where everything is. I mean, I guess I could massive flooding these explorers out instead, then push the town out here. I think we just push this town out of this wetland, and we'll throw it over here to the sands. Oh no, but then when this blights, it'll add a town. Oof. Yep, where do I want to use my massive flooding innate? Yeah, I actually don't think I really use it. I mean, I guess I can go to here, and I'm going to call to guard here, which will fully clear out this land. But, yep, that's where we're at. So I'll use massive flooding, pushing A1 into A5. Okay, so just like I mentioned last turn, we're going to G2 again with lightning, play all of our cards, and we are ready to cook here. And we've accessed sands, we've accessed mountains. Ideally, I want to access a jungle. However, I'm not really utilizing my explorer push well. If I were to grow over here to this sands, I would utilize that explorer push very well. So I think that's what I want to do. Yep, we're going to grow over to the sands so I can utilize that. River is going to G2. It's going to reclaim River's Bounty, and it's going to play these 3 cards. And I want to grow. I'm going to be getting a slow to fast with River, so let's utilize the Explorer push. So we're going to go over here to B5. And then this last presence can go anywhere. And we are getting escalations, right? Yep, because Sweden is leading. I mean, I could go over here to B1. Gathering these 2 Dahan like this. And then maybe I can try to stop this land. Yeah, that makes the most sense. I mean, alternatively, I can take out both of these Dahan and move over here to the wetland. It just depends if I plan on defending this land here. Which I mean, I can go isolate. It just depends. Okay, I think that's what we do. We have flash floods, which will go here. And then, okay, so that's what we're doing there. Let's do our downpour now, G2. We're going to discard 2 cards. We're going to discard Foundations and Dark Skies, playing these 2, and I've already talked a little bit about this turn. Where am I placing my presence? That's just going to depend based on the board. I think this is nicely defended. We're probably taking Blight here, right? Which means I have to Mining Rush into my land 7, my B7. I think we do something like, maybe I don't need the extra range. No, see, I'm planning extra range with River, unless I want to grow to here. So I can zap this. So that means Downpour is not getting the extra range, which is okay. So if that is the case, they probably want to go and put 1 presence here just to be safe, play around edge cases. And then this presence, we'll go here. Go into multiple lands. Okay, and Starlight, so this is where it really depends on what we've drafted. If I had a bad major, I'd look again, but since I got a major I like, I think I want to go with another minor. I know I'm playing these 2 cards. Ooh, but that means maybe I go for another major instead then. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. We're gonna go with another major because I'm gaining a minor with Gift of Power. So I think we have the ability to greed here. So I'm gonna get a major. I'm not gonna forget this time to move my presence. We're gonna go over here into land B1. And we got some absurd cards here. So these are all really good. Blazing Renewal is the weakest, just adding Destroyed Presence. We're not going to do that. The strongest is Irresistible or Weave. I mean, Weave has the highest potential, but Irresistible is just completely cracked into this combination. Pyro Flow is also a good card, especially with it having that air. Destroying or 2 damage, destroy all explorers is just going to be so strong into this adversary combination. My body's leaning towards Irresistible Call, especially since I can throw it out next turn and just do some insane damage. I'm going to get rid of Pent Up. I'm going to play these 2 cards. So gain a power card. I have 2 more growth options. I'm going to gain an energy, and then I have to place a presence. And usually, well, this is such a weird card. I mean, it has air, right? Yeah, it does. I mean, maybe I go bottom track for the air, or maybe I just go top track. Top track for the energy. And then I have 2 drafts to find an odd element card. Yeah, that's probably the way to go. Yep, we do this. Okay, so everybody is ready to go. Let's execute this turn very nicely here. So Windinate. Windinate is going to go to River. River is going to push 2 explorers. It's going to push those explorers out of this land. Go to this jungle. Lightning is going to do that, pushing these explorers out of this land, and it's going to go into this jungle. Actually, we'll go to this mountain. Mountain and jungle will do that. Play around beast damage. Then that extra range is going to be needed so that we can flash floods, killing these 2 explorers here. Dead and dead. We have Boon of Vigor going here, setting us 6 energy. Thank you. Called a guard. Going to defend 4 here. We have the Downpour passive innate that gets turned on. And you know what? I should probably go like this instead. Oops, passive defend 1. This is what I can use this card. I have what? How many deluges? I have 4 deluges, which gives me defend 6 plus 1, so it's only defend 7, 5, 8, 9. Dang, I'm 1 defend off. That's crazy. So sad. I mean, I guess it could work here. So maybe what I do instead is I shuttle these here. No, that means I won't have enough defend here because of how I messed stuff up. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so Steam Vents, that's going to be a +1 range town kill. And that allows me to kill this town nicely. Go. We have Gold's Allure Fast, pulling this invaders out, adding a Strife. Stopping that city build and that triangle trade. And we have this innate fast. Oh, right, we have the innate fast. I mean, I guess if this blights, I can let this go. Okay, before we do that, let's use peace. We'll forget it. And we're going to use peace to skip both of these lands. Boom, boom. Just having a ton of value for having that skip like I talked about. Okay, so that means we're taking blight here, here, and here. And I can defend this with Downpour. That means what we should do is... I really wish I had the extra range. Okay, this is what we can do. Instead, we have the Downpour presence there, and we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to give us defend 6, defend 6. So I'm using this twice in this land and twice in this land. Isolating, isolating. Boom and boom. This is defense 7, 5, 8, 9, which means, and that's twin days. So twin days, so we have 3 of these plus the twin days. So that's 4. Twin days goes to river. River gives a second one over here to lightning. And lightning is going to use, or lightning will get 12 energy. And then lightning will use Shatter Homestead to take out this town here. And then lightning will use the innate. So lightning's taking lightning's boon. Lightning will use the innate to kill these buildings. I'm currently taking 1 damage here. I could shuttle Dahan away from this, which gets rid of my sacred site like this instead. No, it doesn't matter. Because of I guess what I could do instead is put both of the Downpour presents here, and that should make it work. Like that. Yeah, I mean, this is probably the best I'm going to get. I have Dahan movements, don't I? So I've used 2 abilities fast. Oh, I also have this fast, which I forgot about. Right, that's what I wanted to do. Instead, I wanted to do that. Oh no, but I don't have the range. I was like, I wanted to do it here, but I don't have that range because I only have 1 sacred site, so I can only hit here. Yep, not enough. Can't even hit here, which I would have loved. I do have a slow to fasts. I guess what I can do is use Boon of River's Bounty fast, allowing us with +1 range to gather 2 Dahan like this, play around Sweden escalation, and also gets me a counterattack here. And then I have a Harbinger's fast, which I'll use here to push these Dahan like this. Once again, to play around the escalations. And I'm okay if they're... Okay, I think this is probably fine. There, and there. I think I've executed everything. I do have 1 more innate. Oh, no, I used River's Bounty fast. Yep, so that's everything. Let's see what the event is. Yikes. I am very sad. Heavy farming is brutal. Oh, is it? Am I? No, I think it is brutal. Dang it. I think I take a blight and I lose a bunch of presents. Okay, let's do beasts. Destroy though, which is nice. Boom, 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 boom. And we get to add those Dahan. And we can go, that Dahan's dead. We go Dahan there. Dahan here. Dahan here. And I think we added Dahan here because this is going to be what, 5, 6, 10 damage versus my defend 8. Ah, oh, I'm so sad. Dang. Well, there I am losing that. So, and this is what, 4, 5, 6 versus my defend 6. I'm good there. Okay. Well, is what it is. So double blights. That gets cleared. That's all skipped. This is gonna get this is cleared. This blights. Goodbye presents. Goodbye presents. At least now I have presents to kill or to get rid of. And I'm doing what? Is it 4 damage back? I think it's 4 damage back. No. Grants defend and lowers the counter attack. I wonder if the presence gets destroyed. Is the counter attack still being lowered by 2? Not sure. I don't think it really matters. I'll just kill the city. It technically slightly matters, but not that much. Okay, so we blight there, we blight there. We don't have to mining rush because these are isolated, which is cool. And the sands and the wetlands. Wow, I am such a freaking wizard here. Oh no, I had to build. So let me build first. Oops, forgot to build. Okay, sands or wetlands. But look, I just completely hit on both of these isolates. So Um, Pretty awesome. Let's do our explorers. Unfortunately, this is where the France-Sweden combo comes into play. It double explores because of France and then checks for Sweden, so I actually get escalated here, even though I try to protect against it. Okay, I get converted over here, and then both of these are sets, and then I have to France 6. We'll go here, 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 here. Very good. Let's take a look here, and I'll finish up these turns. Okay, those were skipped. Actually, Irresistible Call is something that would have not been that good here. Okay, so we used all of these. Okay, we still have this Massive Flooding innate. I have +1 range. Do I want to use this anywhere? I mean, I guess I go here. Kill that town. Push both explorers. We could push them into this mountain. Actually, yeah, we'll go to this mountain because I can plan for an Irresistible Call if I need to. Okay, that's this. I have a Moon innate and a Gift of Power. Moon innate. I guess I go gather this explorer like this, softening this land up. Gift of Power targeting themselves. Gosh, there's natures. Okay, well, we just 100% snap grab this card. Though I did find some really nice cards, this air plant, but no, nature's the way to go. Yep. It's so funny. It's like if I would have just grabbed the good card with Solidify, Solidify would have been excellent here. But okay, so this is, what time is it? So we've gone through about an hour and 10 minutes. So we've played through the first 2 turns. Like I said, we're going to keep Reclaim looping with Lightning. Actually, keep, as in we haven't even done it yet. Let's start with our first major. We have so much energy. We pretty much can play any card at this point. Plague Ships is pretty cool, but I think the card is actually just Fire and Flood because I think I might be just teched for it. No, I am not. These are actually not the best majors. And Fire and Flood is still better than, like, I have so much energy, so I have to play it. So, and I'm probably getting rid of, ooh, what do I get rid of here? I mean, Harbingers is the weakest of the cards. Let's see. Probably, yeah, getting rid of Harbingers is fine because I'm still hitting my innates. And Harbingers, I don't really need the Dahan movement, so we'll get rid of Harbingers. I need all the Earth cards because then it's I get a fast town kill. But yes, like this is like completely cracked, right? And then yeah, a Fire Flood Threshold, and then I just realized I have natures, so I can double threshold this. That means, and I'm just trying to see if there's any other majors. Yep, so like now that's the case, I mean Fire and Flood's just gonna go complete ham, especially with the extra range increases. Is gonna be completely cracked. Like I can go 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3 with the extra range, and I can use this to just completely blow up. And like you're just seeing just all of just the craziness, just everything's just cracked. Yeah, so let's get a minor here. And this is another thing too. You gain that major, you gain the minor, and you gain the minor. So you have all of this knowledge before you make your decisions on your drafting. So like I'm looking here at River. I'm really not liking these cards. They're, like I said, we're really looking for 0 cost cards, and I drew a bunch of garbage ones. Not garbage, but like Cycles is the best of the cards. It's also an element. I could go Like Calls Like. This could do some cool stuff, but I think I just do Cycles and we just start healing Blight. I look over here at Downpour. Not really bad. I mean, like I could always go with just like Uncanny Melting and just look to heal a bunch of Blight. We're so far ahead because of the disruption we did, and then we double isolated on B1 and B6. Where really we can do anything at this point, and we're pretty satisfied. We do need an answer for this now that I'm looking. I guess we can solve that with my innate plus the town kill. And then we did already solve this. Oh yeah, we're just so far ahead here. If that's the case, I'm just going to grab the Blight healing card with Uncanny Melting. There's a bunch of Wetlands and Sands Blight, so might as well try to heal Blights. Though I mean, the best card is Hazard Spread. Now let's just do Uncanny Melting because it's fun. I can repeat that a bunch. The fact that I have Twin Days makes this just like be like I'll probably just end in this reclaim loop. Just these 3 cards because this is going to give me 3 water. It gives me an extra repeat of Deluge, and then I'm giving out Twin Days and Abundance every turn, which is just completely cracked. Like I might just play Abundance or Twin Days this turn just so that I can give out double Boon of Vigor so that I can do another Fire and Flood. I can combo Abundance this turn to do 2 Fire and Floods and just completely decimate the adversary. And then as I'm going to do with Starlight, it really just depends. I mean, I can go with the Irresistible Call play. The plan with the Irresistible Call, if it was like Jungle, I pick here and I just stop all of these builds. And that's why I grabbed this card. I could go with another minor. I mean, I kind of want to go with another major just because Irresistible Call is so awkward. I mean, it's not a bad card. You can still make use of it. Yeah, I think I just go with the major here because worst case, I can always just reclaim 1 and grab Gifted Power and run back Gifted Power and Natures. And yeah, these are just absolutely cracked here. Yeah, Power Storm, Volcanic, Sweep. These are all game winners. Just depends on how you want to win the game. Since we're already powering up Fire and Flood with Lightning Spoon, the answer is just Power Storm because we now have an outlet for it. Forgetting Boon of Reimagining, and then I'm probably just playing these 2 cards. Hooray. So I picked, what did I do? So I picked Power Card Gain. I still need to place a Presence, and then I also have to gain my extra energy, or I can do a Reclaim 1. I think I'm just going to Reclaim 1 because I have plenty of energy. So now I just need to place a Presence. I'm probably going to go from top track here. And I want to lock in an air because I'm probably going to take an air here, and I'm going to get an air. I have an air off of Firestorm or a Power Storm, so that seems pretty darn good to me. I could actually Threshold Power Storm if I really wanted to, but okay, let's move. Let's move this Presence. I guess we move this Presence into here so I can try to get that wind push, and then I'll put a Presence there. There we go. So we're locking in these cards. Maybe I don't even play Power Storm. Maybe I do Gift of Power. And then River. Oh gosh. Like, what do I even do here? I mean, I guess we just let this go and we plan to massive flooding the land. Yeah, that's definitely what we do. So this turn we probably, we just go Boon of Vigor and Cycles. Yep, just do these. So Cycles just heals Blight, and then Boon of Vigor just to power up the team, and then we're just going to let this build up, and then we're just going to kill everything. Yep, taking that turn off very nicely. And then Downpour, I mean, oh gosh, I don't even know what to do here. Like, you can just do literally anything. Like, you have so much flexibility. Like, Wind is completely powered up here. Like, even, okay, let's say we do Wind here. Let's say River takes the Wind innate. River uses that to push the Explorers into here. Lightning does that to push the Explorer from here into here. Lightning uses 1 slow to fast there from Wind, killing both of these towns, or town city. Steam Vents gets used to kill this town, and now the Sands is cleared. And then we have, oh right, we have Call to Guard too, which, I mean, I guess we do Call to Guard here. So it pairs up to Han, prevents against Sweden escalations, also defends it, player on edge cases. I could also take the Blight here. I probably just do that. Call to Guard is good. I now have Fire and Flood, but first we use Natures for 2 water. Funny enough, I could grab Air and I can actually max out these innates, which might actually be better. Oh yeah, that's definitely just better. So if I go both of these innates instead, that means that I can kill the extra town here, which means my Steam Vents can kill a town instead at 2 range, which means the Steam Vents can actually kill this town instead. And it also means I get 2 more Explorer pushes with, which I can pick Starlight to go here. Yep, so that's just way better. So I'm opting to do 4 less damage with Fire and Flood, but that means I get to the 2 extra air that upgrades both of my innates. So, and then now I have Fire and Flood, which is going to be, I guess, unfortunately, I think it's like 3 and 4 is the distance, which I kind of am forced to do. So I can do 3 damage is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can do here and here, clearing out both of these lands. I'm okay with this though. That's done. Yeah, Fire and Flood. Let's just do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and kill all of that and kill that. Wonder if I'm just supposed to kill all of this here and here. With Fire and Flood, probably. Let's do Fire and Flood. 8 damage and 4 damage. Because I can do Fire and Flood first. I can do what, 1, 2, and then 1? 8, 4. Yeah. So we actually use Fire and Flood before we use the Wind innate. So 8 damage goes here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all of this dies. And then 4 damage here, killing this. And then we use the Starlight Wind innate to push 2 explorers. We'll use that here, and we'll push this explorer over to the wetlands. Technically, I could probably do G5 and then push the explorer again because I had an extra push with the Wind innate. So I do that. We do Boon of Vigor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do cycles. Let's heal that blight. And this is where we've locked in. We have not used a Power Storm yet. We have not done anything with Downpour. And we've only used 2 slow to fasts. So we have 2 more slow to fasts with lightning, so we can actually do the rest. I guess we use Goals Allure to pull these guys out. Might as well just strife over here. And this is our Slave Rebellion. And I have a Shatter Homestead, which I probably don't use. And like I said, so this is where we're at. I am going to stop this video because I think we've done most of it. We've kind of played through the first couple turns. I talked through hopefully all the spirits, the macro strategy, what you're looking for. I think the last thing that I didn't really cover too much is just the majors that you're really looking for. The biggest one is Cast Down. You find Cast Down, you pick it, it instantly wins the game. Other than that, it's going to be dependent on the matchup and what you're trying to accomplish. Some cards that are really good. Obviously, Rumbling Earthquake is really good. You can make that slow to fast. I love, where is it? Exaltation is crazy on Lightning. Look, it's perfect element. It's just incredible card on this spirit. I love it. What else? It's bugged already. Dang. Yes, sometimes that major UI gets bugged out. But yeah, there's just so many cards that's, that you can make work, and it's one of the reasons why I love this adversary comp. So you found this video helpful. If you liked it, like and subscribe. If you want to see more content regarding super teams, just leave a message, leave a comment. I'll see you guys in the next video.